Hello, and welcome back to another read aloud edition of RWBY Fairytales of Remnant. And I have my lovely host or guest here, Quinn. And in our last reading, we read something called The Shallow Sea, which talks about how Faunus, with the help of their Faunus god, helped them find Fariscara. I may have gotten the name wrong. I may have to come back to that. Plus, my mind's not... Anyway, in today's reading, we are going to be reading the story called The Judgement of Faunus. Many, many years ago, in a faraway land, there was a war between humans and animals. Humans envied animals because of all the amazing things they could do. They could run faster than a rumor spreads, see in darkness as if it were daylight, and wield the strength of 3 people at once. All that, and they were never troubled by the creatures of RWBY, which sought only to destroy humans and their creations. The humans' envy soon turned into hatred. Yet animals also envied humans because of all the amazing things they could do. Humans could use dust to perform miracles. They could adapt to any situation, and they could build structures, machines, tools, and weapons. All that, and they persisted in the face of constant adversity and tragedy brought by the creatures of RWBY. The animals envied soon turned into fear. As the war raged on, there were many casualties on both sides. At night, animals raided the human village and took whatever they needed to survive. During the day, humans hunted animals in the forest. One day, a god was passing through the land when they happened upon a bloody fight between the humans and the animals. They froze everyone in place and walked onto the battlefield. Why are you fighting? The god asked. Their words were understandable to both species, who did not understand each other's language and had never tried to learn. The god released one human and one animal to answer. The human and the animal eyed the god suspiciously. They had 2 arms and 2 legs like a human, but also branching horns like an animal. Are you human or animal? The animal asked. I am neither, and both, the god said. Why are you fighting? They are not like us, the human and the animal said, pointing at each other. Little did they know that they had spoken the same words. Fear of those different from you is a universal language. Why must everyone be the same? The god asked them. We worry about what they might do to us, the human and animal said. So you have something in common, after all. The god crossed their arms. Judge not what others might do, but by what you see them do. Humans are as capable of destruction as they are of creation, the animal said. Evil is in their hearts. Animals are so much stronger than us, but they will not join us in fighting the RWBY, the human retorted. Have you tried working together? The god asked. Yes, the animal said, but the humans wanted to control us and make us their property, as they can sacrifice our lives against the RWBY instead of their own. But that is not our fight. We just want to be free. Yes, the human said, but the animals are wild and unruly. They steal from us at night. We only want to keep them in their place so we may live in safety and peace. You have grown to see only the worst in one another, the god said, but you are more alike than you realize. Your potential is unlimited. If you can only learn to celebrate one's best qualities and embrace your differences. The god looked around, and soon the larger group of humans and animals could move again. Each side regarded the other apprehensively. I can end this conflict if you all agree to subject yourselves to my judgment, the gods said. If you do not agree to live in peace, you will kill one another off, and perhaps destroy the world in the process. The humans and animals considered carefully. The humans saw themselves in the god's speech and manner, and were certain the god would side with them. The animals noted the god's magnificent horns, so they assumed the god would side with them. We choose life, the humans and animals said at the same time. We accept your judgment, O wise one. So be it, the gods said. Suddenly, a thick fog rolled onto the battlefield. The humans and animals called out in panic when they were unable to see one another, and still worried that the other side would attack. When the fog finally dissipated, the god was gone, and the humans and animals were also gone. For when they could see one another again, they could see that both sides had changed. The animals had gained human features and stood upright on two legs, while the humans have gained animal features and enhanced senses. Though they all now look alike, they also were different from one another. Some had the ears of a cat, some the horns of a bull. Some had sharp tusks, while others had long tails. Some had strong scales or spikes, some had fins or wings. What have you done to us? They all cried. I thought the god was going to judge which of us was superior, one person complained. Maybe they have, said one of the animals. Were you human or animal before? I don't think it matters anymore, the person admitted. If you look closely, you could tell who had been human because of the way they stroked their new fur and lifted their eyes to try to glimpse their new horns or held their hands up to admire their new claws. You could tell who had been animal because of the way they stumbled and fell on two legs like a newborn, poked at their bare flesh, and pressed their fingers clumsily against their rows of flat teeth. Also, they had no clothes, and they were astonished to feel a strange new emotion, embarrassment. Although the idea of dressing up like humans had never occurred to them before. I can see so far. Look at how much I can lift. I have hands. I'm walking on 2 feet like a monkey. Those who had been human shared their own cloaks and jackets with those who needed coverings. Finally, one of them said what they all could see and feel. It seems we are neither human nor animal. The whole crowd had the same question. Then what are we? Better than both, one suggested. The god had created the first Faunus, combining the best parts of both humans and animals so they could live in peace together. But that is not the end of the story. Rather, it is only the beginning. Solving one problem often creates new ones to deal with, and the humans, and the Faunus, would not live happily ever after. Instead of warring with one another based on jealousy and fear, they would still fight with one another over matters of philosophy instead of appearance. As the Faunus accumulated to their new forms and to their new kin, creatures of Grimm approached the former battlefield steadily. Drawn by the heightened emotions and confusion of the fledgling beings, those who had been animals were unconcerned at first, as the Grimm had never bothered with them before. But they soon discovered that Grimm were as interested in Faunus as they were in humans. Delighting in and emboldened by their newfound strength and agility, creativity and adaptiveness, the Faunus engaged the Grimm in combat. But they were still uncertain in their bodies, unfamiliar in the ways of aura and semblances. They took heavy losses against the Grimm, and it was a terrible blow to be cut down before finding their destiny as a new race. Horrified and afraid, the Faunus beat a hasty retreat to the local village. But there they received a poor welcome and faced yet another hurdle. The villagers closed their doors and their hearts to the strangers, alarmed by their appearance. "We live here," cried some of the Faunus who had previously been human. "Don't you remember us?" "We don't know you," cried the villagers, their faces stony and their voices cold. "We don't trust you. Be gone." "Were we so narrow-minded when we were humans?" asked a Faunus who had been so. "Yes," replied the rest. The Faunus had changed so much, inside and outwardly, so that they were no longer recognizable to their mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, sons and daughters. In addition, they had been pursued by creatures of Grimm, which the villagers viewed as an intentional attack. In the chaos that followed, the Faunus and humans all fled for their lives. The humans left to find a new settlement, safe from Grimm and close to Faunus. The Faunus left to find somewhere they could live peacefully with one another and become the best versions of themselves, free of prejudice. Since they were born, Faunus had never stopped running from Grimm and humans and searching for a place to call home. Well, that was quite a story, learning how a new race was just created just because out of fear and out of jealousy. I wonder if that is what would have happened to humans if we continue feeling jealous and anger towards people that are not like us. Because even though we look the same, even though we are the same on the inside, people view us, humans view other humans differently based on their outward appearance. What do you suppose we can learn from this story? Could we do this? Could we have an open mind and an open heart to see what lies underneath us instead of outside? Or do you think our God will be able to change us to a being that could be a being of both? Who knows? And maybe God has already done that. Till the next story.